Hello. My name is Jennifer Pfeffer, and I am a teacher at King High School. I teach English, and I also am a teacher on special assignment with our ILE department for one period of my day to support a couple of programs. So welcome to my classroom. It is a mess. I'm at an MTSS pullout day tomorrow, and so I have sub stuff and paper stuff, and going a little crazy. If only you could see next to me. It's not nearly as clean as in front of me. All right, so today we are going to go over our connections for Edpuzzle. We're looking at three main things. Edpuzzle Live. The code, Tracy, to get in is in the Activities tab. So if you click down at the bottom where the triangle, square, circle is, you can get it at all times. We're going to go over Edpuzzle Live. We're going to go over feedback and grading. We're going to go over YouTube and Edpuzzle, and then go back to our connection. The class is designed to be 1 hour, but I do have the ability, if we want to stay over, you want to keep practicing, we can go up to 5 o'clock and you get paid for that as well. But I'm going to shoot for us to be finished at 4:45 with another 15 minutes of playtime if you would like to stay with me. So just for planning purposes. You probably have seen these images before, but our goal as a district is to improve student learning. So across the board, whether we are doing that in the classroom, out of the classroom. And so Edpuzzle is one of the tools that our district has invested in to help us create thoughtful lesson design and integrate that into what we're looking at for on-the-spot intervention. We'll talk about how you can do this individually in groups, but also ways to get our higher level thinking, maximizing the student learning. This side over here, these are the 4 elements of SAMR, which is also in our guide for instructional design. And Edpuzzle can be as simple as a substitution of a worksheet, but our goal is that we can use it to modify and redefine the way that we are teaching, giving students a lot of accountability built in. That's actually my favorite part of Edpuzzle. As I said, we have 3 basic objectives that we're going to do with Edpuzzle. So the first one is experience and learn how to assign an Edpuzzle Live. I don't know where the middle one went. Practice using Edpuzzle as a teacher, including grading and feedback. And then explore adding content to Edpuzzle. Now, in the fall, when I did this, this third one, actually, we could have spent another hour. And so I got permission to have a whole nother hour class about adding content in. So we're going to touch it. But the 8th, which is not next week, the week after, we have another PD about creating content in Edpuzzle that's going to expand on just this last one in a great, huge fashion. So some of the magic of Edpuzzle. How many of you, I can see a lot of your faces, how many of you already use Edpuzzle? Do I have, you can just raise your hand so I see some hands so you know some of this. Perfect. Okay, so those of you, I like it. I can, oh, look, ooh, that's new. Can you guys see the little thumbs fly? Ooh, that was cool. I'm nerding out over here for just a second because that was cool. Anyway, part of the magic behind Edpuzzle, and you guys already know this, but there's a couple things I wanted to highlight. First of all, the videos can watch at any pace that they want. The live sessions, if you've never used it, this works really well when you are in person. I actually started using live when I was teaching virtual, and I now use it in my class often, especially, this is kind of my cheat, like I'm going to start the video with them, but I'm not going to have time to finish it, and it's homework to finish. So I will switch from live mode to independent mode. Often I do it back and forth, like if I start it with them. But the bread and butter and the reason that I use Edpuzzle is because you can hold every student accountable for every aspect of it. You can see who's watching, who answers the questions. They can't skip. They can't open other tabs. If they open another tab, it stops playing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. So that's my favorite part. You can monitor their progress. Audio responses are new for 2022, so if you haven't played with it, that's one of the new things. And then screen recording right inside of Edpuzzle. So you don't have to record yourself outside and then bring it in. You can actually do it directly through Edpuzzle. So this is overview. I know lots of you raised your hands, so you already use it. I'll do it very quickly. You can use Edpuzzle during class. Station rotations are really popular with my elementary school teachers, but I've messed with it with my secondary kids and it worked great. I had 3 rotations going. One was doing paper and a discussion, one was on an Edpuzzle, and one was with me. I was like, oh my gosh, I could actually do this. Individual work, listening comprehension, and then live sessions. Another one is homework/subwork. Adding to your lesson, you can make sure that they're using all of those different components. Introduce grammar, prepare for class discussion, and then review. They have some awesome reviews in here, especially depending on what your subject is that they're already made. So 3 different ways to use Edpuzzle. So how to use, we have independent mode. That's probably what most of you are using. And then live mode. Any of you guys use live mode already?
I have used live mode, but I wonder, when you use live mode, can you go back to independent mode? Because that's where I'm having the issue. When someone's absent, they have to do the same one.
You can, and I will show you how to do that today, actually. So we got a couple live modes. Most of us are in independent mode. All right, so a couple things, and this is really quick. New for 2022-23, Edpuzzle Originals. These are high quality created videos. There is a lot of secondary or elementary, but then the secondary ones are pretty good. I actually did one for the Harlem Renaissance and African American History Week this week. They're in there, so if you haven't played with them, look at the Edpuzzle Originals created by Edpuzzle. Audio responses are now available for every single question. So those of you who teach littles, or you just want big kids to be able to use their voice or foreign language, you get to turn them on and off as the teacher before you assign them. So every short answer, you just toggle it back and forth. Literally, it's a toggle. And so then anytime instead of typing, they could leave you a voice response back. And then language settings, Edpuzzle is learning more languages every day. So English, Spanish, Portuguese, Indonesian, Kantala, and actually someone told me a couple days ago when I was talking to him, there's 2 more languages already in there. So a DLI program, I don't know if I have any of you, but I know I have Spanish teachers in the room. The Edpuzzle Originals are already in Spanish. So we've got lots and lots of language settings in there, which is pretty awesome. All right, so we're gonna try Edpuzzle Live. You ready for it? So you are actually going to be my student in my Edpuzzle Live class. So I'm gonna, if you'll open a new tab and go to Edpuzzle, but I want you, if you are already logged in, I want you to log out. Okay, so you can tell that you have logged out because it will say log in or sign up. Okay, so open a tab, go ahead and log out, because I want you to see this from the student perspective the whole entire time. So you should see log out right here. Okay. And then when you're going to join my class, you're going to get the pop-up that says I'm a student or a teacher. For this case, I want you to pick that you are a student. Okay, so there's the link in the chat. So if you'll click that link, you are going to come back to the login tab and click sign in with Google. I actually can't physically do this with you or it will make me not the teacher. Okay, so sign in with Google and then click I am the student. So what you are doing is you are logging into what is called a classic class. And you should say January 30th PD practice. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. So you are in my class. You are also in my Google Meet, correct? Yes. All right, so what I want you to go ahead and click back on the Google Meet for just a second. You're in my class, but it's on the side. Okay, so in the Google Meet, I'm showing you from the teacher perspective what it looks like. So you can see I have my 4 different assignments. So when you click on your tab where you're the student, you'll notice your left-hand sidebar looks very different. But other than that, your middle of your due date and your assignments look the same, right? So click back on the Google Meet. I'm going to take us, and we're going to do this pep talk live right now. I have 13 of you in my class. And so again, click on the Google Meet so you can see the teacher part. So this is a classic class. So you logged in with your Google, your names have popped up right here on the side. You have not watched it, which I don't want you to yet, but you have not watched it, so you show up as 0. So what I'm going to do is we're going to actually do this together in live mode. Okay, so I'm going to click a live mode. So as a teacher, I'd live mode, start live mode. Okay, then if you click back on your tab where you're the student, Is it taking it? Does it say waiting for your teacher? Yes, perfect. So I've got Anthony and Aaron and Maria and Scott are there and Ashley.
Where should it be saying that? Is it a separate pop-up?
It's the tab where you were logged in as the student.
Uh-huh.
It should say, I'm waiting for your teacher. It's just basically waiting for you to be active again.
Do I need to click on the puzzle? Because it says my classes and it lists your class, but I don't have anything popping up.
You don't have anything popping up. Okay, click on my class.
Okay.
Like where it says January 30th PD.
Uh-huh.
Click there and it should just be waiting for me. Is it in there?
Oh, now it did it.
Perfect. There you go. All right, so you are waiting on your teacher. Hi, Fran, what's up?
I can log in as a teacher, but not as a student.
Okay, so when you click on to join my class, it makes you be a teacher?
When I get to Edpuzzle,
Okay.
welcome, ready for class. I'm a teacher, I'm a student.
So click the link I'm gonna put in the chat.
Okay.
And then when it's gonna ask you to join my class, it's gonna ask you for your username and your password. Like you're gonna click sign in with Google and then make sure you click I'm a student.
Okay. It's got sign in with Google. Okay, so skip the password thing.
Yep. Deborah, go for it.
All right, I did the same thing. I clicked on the link.
Yep.
And I
Log-
just see my classes, the classes that I'm teaching, so I don't know.
Okay, so go up to the top right-hand corner and click log out of the Google, of the Edpuzzle.
Okay.
I've got 18 of you in there. Okay, so you logged out and you just see the normal screen.
Yes.
Now click on the link again from the chat
Okay.
and try it that way.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I use it all the time. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's the pain in the butt part of when you switch from being a student to a teacher.
All right, and then I just log in.
Log
with
in
Google.
with Google, but make sure you say I'm a student. I know, it's weird. All right.
All right.
I'm
Right
ready.
there you go. I see Fran.
3
in
years
here, too.
later. Yeah. All right.
Yay,
thanks so much.
perfect. Okay, so in Edpuzzle Live mode, your kids are going to be on their Chromebooks. This is the one dysfunction of doing this like electronically to train you how to do this. So your kids are all on their Chromebooks. They are usually, the best practice is they've clicked this link from their Google Classroom, so they don't necessarily have to type anything in. We're in a weird boat because you're not all in my Google Classroom. All right, so once in teacher mode, if you click back on the Google Meet for me, or if you have two screens, you can set them next to each other. So it's just, this is what I would normally have on my projector. I'm waiting for you to join. Jordan's computer has probably gone to sleep, or she has let it sleep, or she walked away, or she's in the bathroom, right? I love this when it's connected to your Google Classroom because you can actually see who's there or who's not there, okay? So when I start this tab, okay, my screen, which I would normally be projecting, shows the video. But click on your tab for your Edpuzzle, you see no video. It just says watch the projector, okay? So I'm gonna play it.
I learned we all need a pep talk.
So this video is the sequel. So now if you click on your Edpuzzle window, notice how you see the question. It's just that note, okay? So I'm gonna click continue. 8 of you have clicked it already. So click in the Google Meet window, you can see I have 13 of the 19 of you who have clicked continue. Okay, so if I click continue, now playing.
I think we all need a pep talk.
I think we all need a pep talk.
Now I want you to notice it's playing in my projection window, but it's not playing on your computer. So the only reason you're hearing it is in the Google Meet. All right, do you guys notice that? Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself, and then when the question comes up, you'll have a chance.
You.
So go ahead and answer the question. Have you watched Old School Kid President video? You betcha I have. Never heard of this kid, but he's cute. Go ahead and answer it. So I have on my screen, on my teacher screen, you can tell down here, I have 17 of the 19 who's watched it. So we're live. You have to hurry, okay? So I click continue, and I can show my responses. So 61% of you have watched it, 39% hasn't. Why might I do this in class? because I'm doing a quick check for understanding. I want to show them the right answer. We're moving on, but I can rewatch it, which lets you re-answer it, or I can just move on. You don't get to change your answer. Okay. So I click.
We need you. Now, I'm not trying to sound needy, but I'm just saying, we need you. We need every voice. Little voices, shaky voices, any voice looking to spread love. We need the young. We need the people who might have forgotten what it's like to be young. We need the hopeful. We need the hopeless, the usual, and the unusual, because we can't handle any more business as usual. We posted a video on the internet. Brad wrote a pep talk, well, because he needed a pep talk. And I know what it's like to need a pep talk, so I delivered it. We put it online and realized lots of other people need a pep talk. Teachers, parents, kids, Beyonce, people who aren't Beyonce.
All right, so now you'll notice that a question has popped up. This is an open-ended one. So go ahead and type it. Okay, give me an answer. Give me a real answer, because we're going to use this later too. So when is a time that you needed a pep talk? Now from the teacher lens, and you guys are being the student lens, but from the teacher lens, I'm noticing how many people are typing in. So I have 13 people that have answered. I have 12 people, etc. So I can tell basically when we're ready. Those of you who are Pear Deck fans, I know Fran in here is a Pear Deck fan. This is like a simpler version of Pear Deck, because it's just, we're going to use it for videos. Okay, but it could save us. Now I have 20 out of 20 that are done. I'm ready. I'm going to click continue. I can see these responses while trying to teach online. Oh my gosh, yes. Now I have the ability, notice there's no one's names attached. Okay, so I can look down, right, when my kids fail their tests, I need a pep talk, getting ready for softball, waking up in the morning, constantly after a breakup, after a tough day, period 4 minus period 3, when I'm overwhelmed at work, too tired to get out of bed. Awesome, look at those ideas of why we needed a pep talk.
Beyonce, more people than I even knew existed. There are people all around you who need reminding, to laugh, to dance. We can remind each other of all the reasons there are to dance. And there's lots of reasons to dance, I mean, if you're looking for them. So look for them, because your dance moves, they're needed. Even if they're awkward, especially if they're awkward. Your joy, it's needed. We are little reminders.
Next question pops up. What's needed, your joy or your job? I mean, both, but what's more important, according to him? Okay. Now, let's say I wanted my kids to go faster. I could give them preps. I've got 19 out of 20. I'm going to click continue. Notice as soon as I click continue, you don't get to answer it anymore. I've now set kind of that timer on their
Reminders
speed.
to each other to stay unusual. Whether you're Michael Jordan and you were in Space Jam, or if you just...
What happens is like, oh, I wanted to show them our answers. I can actually click back on that little teardrop. Okay. I can click continue. I can say show responses. Ooh, one person said your job. We need a pep talk. Right? So notice how I went back. You can go back at any time if you wanted to.
Reminders to each other to stay unusual. Whether you're Michael Jordan and you were in Space Jam, or if you're just somebody who's watched Space Jam. A lot. Guilty. You are needed. There are people all around you who need reminding. And you can let them know. We can help each other roll on when we can't do things on our own. If this journey has taught us anything, it's taught us that. The little words created out of big love, that can go a long way. So here's to love. Here's to throwing parades for each other, parties that cheer each other on, wise friends to light the way. We need reminders that amazing things can happen, because they do, all the time. And one of them is you. We can brighten up every room we enter, every place we go, the entire world. But only if we take...
Real question. Who can you actually brighten the world for tomorrow? Give us one person. Okay. So let's say the bell is ringing, the class is ending, or it's recess time for you that don't live by the bells, okay? So I can now click continue, right? I see my answers, my students, my pup, right? Oh, look, I have a cute one.
By sharing a smile.
There you go. See, there's an audio response. I gave you the ability.
Smile.
Oh, I don't want to listen to it multiple times. We got it, right?
Only
so
if we
now,
take care of each other. Together, we're unstoppable. So we got to stop.
I'm in this live mode. So here's what, if I want to end and let them start over or let them go back, okay? So there's still one question left. It's down here at the very end. It looks like we have about 37 seconds. So all this is as simple as it is. All I do is click exit live mode, and I've now closed it out. However, go ahead and click on your on your student tab, and you can still see your assignment of pet talk, right? You see the cute guy? You see him? Open it. Notice how it picks up right where we left off? No? Did it take you back to the beginning? I see some of you are like, it took me to the beginning. It picked off right where I left off.
It took me to the middle.
It took you to the middle. Okay, so back, it started all over for me. Okay, so
Yeah, it's locked, so we can't fast forward because it's locked.
it's fast forward. Okay, so then I might need to, this is actually Tracy where you're struggling. I might need to turn off prevent skipping since I started in live mode and then moved on. So all I do as the teacher is click off, to prevent skipping. See, it's supposed to, Catherine, do it. It came in at 122, our last question, but I had to hit continue. Okay, it is supposed to, that's why it's weird that you're telling me it's not, supposed to take you exactly where you left off or where the last question was. So it looks like you guys are all different. So who knows what is going on? All right, so go ahead, because it's cute. You can finish that question because I want to show you what it looks like. So on your own now, we'll pretend you're at home. Go ahead and listen to that last minute.
So they can't change any answers without you resetting the whole thing, correct?
Correct. Correct. So they can only do the new things because you've already looked at them. Yep.
But let's say they said, oh, I clicked the wrong one. They tell me right there, and they tell me what the right answer is. I can go in individually, though, and mark their wrong one correct just for them.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. All right. So in the chat, tell me something that you think you could use live mode for. What is in the chat? Something you're like, I could probably do this. Vocabulary words. Yes. Whole group lesson, presenting new material, chemistry docs, SEL morning checklist, step-by-step process, showing a video. Look at you. Have you using it read aloud for Mango Street with questions built in? Yes. All of those things. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. Live mode, a lot easier to make sure they're completing it. Yes. Checking for understanding. Now, the cool part about live mode is that you control the pace of it. Okay. So this is Edpuzzle as an instructional tool in and during your instructional minutes. Okay. I use it often in my AP class because I want to have a conversation about part of the video, but the rest of the video they can do by themselves. And so I use live mode as class. As I mentioned, often happens, it's like you're going to watch most of this video, but we have 4 minutes left in class. So we're going to do the first 4 minutes of your homework together. And then I'll switch into live mode. You control the speed of it. You have the ability to talk, to review answers, etc. Okay. Now, if you switch back to the Google Meet, Edpuzzle has this cute little video of ways to use live mode. Okay, lots and lots of different options. We aren't going to watch it, but I do want you to know it's here if you want to come up with some brilliant ideas later. Fran, yes, sir.
When you're doing that live mode thing, are you projecting the screen up in front of your class? Because the kids can't see anything but white screens.
Correct.
So you're projecting it like you would Pear Deck or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the video part that you guys were watching through the Google Meet is going to be on my projector, because if it's not on my projector, they can't see it because it's not going to play onto their computer. But it's also how we can avoid having 36 different versions of the YouTube video playing at 36 different times. Because even though in the olden days where I used to say 1, 2, 3, start, they still didn't all start it at the same time. Okay, so I just want to let you know there is this video that is built in. It's like 2 minutes of all different ideas of how to use it. Well, this one's only 55 seconds. Okay, so we've experienced it as a student. Now, again, the steps as the teacher mode, you already have it assigned. You click live mode, you go live, you hit start. You saw me interacting with that. It's very, very straightforward. And then when you're done with it, you unassign it. Okay. So what I want you to do right now, you're going to have some sandbox playtime. So when you are in Edpuzzle right now, you are a student. So you actually need to go up to your little picture up at the top and log out again. Okay, so you're going to log out again. And so this time when you log in, you're going to log in as a teacher. the one thing I wish Edpuzzle had figured out is how you could be a student and a teacher at the same time, but you don't. So you're gonna log out, log back in, and now this time click I'm a teacher so that you're gonna get into your classes. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'm going to give you guys 5 whole minutes to play with any of these Edpuzzle lives that you would want to play. Start it, practice it, close it, see what it looks like. If you want me to join you to test it out, you can give me a link in the chat and I will join your Edpuzzle live. You got 5 minutes of playtime. So when you look at the content, Fran, the stuff that is in there is coming in there from, again, multiple areas. Some of it is coming from Edpuzzle that they've made original content. Some of it is coming because other teachers all over the world that are using Edpuzzle have added it in there. Okay, Deborah?
If the videos don't have closed captioning on them, is there any way this program can
Does it for them?
generate them? Yeah.
Yes, it does. It actually does generate them for them. So when you go to post the assignment, it has a toggle switch that says turn on closed captions. And it does do a pretty good job generating closed captions for you automatically.
So it doesn't have to have the video. Like if I have it in YouTube, okay.
Nope.
Right.
Yep, it does it for you. It creates it. Our sign language teacher told me, I asked her specifically because I know she uses Edpuzzle, and she said it's about 95% accurate. And for me, that's really good because that's better than most things that is going to be created. So that's pretty awesome. While you're in teacher mode, I wanted to give you one extra thing before we move on to grading. The school district, because we pay for our Edpuzzle, we have the share links for your school site. And so I just put it in the chat. It's this Google form. So anyone on your site who is using Edpuzzle, if you click the link for your site, it will actually link you to other teachers at your site that are creating Edpuzzles. Okay, so Fran asked the question. He jumped ahead of me just a tiny bit, which was perfect. I love it. When he was in his Discover, when he saw his school, but he didn't see anything he was looking for, that's because he is actually connected King High School already. So once you join you just click the link and it will think a little bit. It goes to a white screen, but it is going to connect you to your school. So I clicked, I undid myself to show you what it looks like. So I just clicked to join to Martin Luther King High School. And so it pops up right here as my school name. And then I've put my subject area in here. So my school is now ready for me. Okay. You don't have to do this, but you can. Someone said, well, can I connect to another school? Sure, it's a public forum. So if you teach 6th grade and someone of your friends teaches 6th grade at a different school and you want to join their Edpuzzle, go for it. It's not going to hurt you, but then we'll kick you out of your school. You can only have one school connected at a time. Okay. How many schools can you have connected? One. But this link, it will be in the Google Classroom for you, so you can go get it at any time. So let's say you virtual teachers, you're like, no, I want to be at a comprehensive high school, or middle school, so you can connect to one and then, no, I want to change it. This is just joining your school community. Any last questions about, Deborah, go for it.
All right, so I'm using, I just saw it. I was looking at how to delete it.
Oh, okay.
Like, how do I delete an assignment? Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is. The 3 little dots.
3 dots.
Yep. All right. Any other last minute questions about Edpuzzle Live? No, we're good. We are now going to move on to feedback and grading in Edpuzzle. Okay. I'm going to use your assignments to live demo this, the ones that you just did. Okay. Feedback and grading. So first, best practice across the board, you want to make sure that when you are creating your classes, you are linking them to your Google Classroom. Okay, couple reasons. First of all, it's going to import your kids. Okay, it will never remove kids that leave your class, just like Aries. They're there forever, but it does bring them all in, which is awesome. Okay, the second thing is that it automatically sends their grades from Edpuzzle to Google Classroom. You don't even have to do anything. You don't even have to click a button. It happens automatically. Okay, that's awesome. Third reason, then we can upload into Aries. Woo! So what we did today was the classic class, which required you to log in. Your email address is now associated. I have a gradebook, but it's a mess, okay, because anybody could add to it. They could put themselves into the wrong class, etc. Okay, the last kind of class is called an open class, which is a free-for-all, and it has no gradebook. So you want to make sure you're attaching it to your Google Classroom so that you have a better link into it. All right, so what are the possibilities? Track their progress, look at the multiple choice, it automatically grades it, it does keep their averages, it monitors their effort, it shows if they've done it late, it shows how much time is spent, right? It does all of those things for me, and it automatically connects in to Google Classroom. Tracy? Go for it.
Is there a way to change how many points they're worth? Because they always come up as 100. Is there a way to change that?
It's super frustrating. No,
Well,
not yet.
I've noticed in Google Classroom, if I set up the assignment, I go in and I change it to 10 in Google Classroom, it will change the numbers when it imports it. But if I forget and leave it 100, then it comes in as 100 points.
Yes. So you can change it in Google Classroom, but in Edpuzzle, it defaults to 100%. Basically, what I have done is I use Aries to fix that issue. I always just keep it 100%. And I tell the kids, it's your percentage. It's not your points. And so then if it's only worth 5 points, yeah, Jennifer, you change it in Google Classroom. If it's only worth 5 points, then in Aries, I put in the assignment is worth 100 points, but it's only out of 5 points. And it does the math for me. That's a pretty little Aries trick, which I can show you guys at the end. But yeah, in Edpuzzle itself, it's only 100 out of 100. I have put in a request for Edpuzzle to change it, and they're pretty adaptive. You could all put in a request to change it and see if they'll actually do it for us. It's so frustrating to me. That's one thing I hate, but I figured out my workaround. This is where some of that teacher magic comes from. So this is my actual American Lit class. I can see all my assignments by due date, etc. I see 26 of my 36 kids had done this when I took the screenshot. Then I go into my individual students. So here's 4 of my individual students' names. They've watched it. And you can see like Brooke has not watched all of it. See how there's a little bit, her line is a little bit shorter. It shows me their grade, the last time they watched it, and their turned in status. Okay. Now, if I click on one of these students individually, I then can have all of this analytics. This is where I talked about really keeping kids accountable. So this is an 18-minute video. She spent 22 minutes total. She got 11 out of 14 right. She watched the whole video, but she didn't get all the answers right. Down here at the bottom, where you have the different colors. So if they got it partially right, it's yellow. If they got it all right, it's green. And if they got part of it wrong, it's red. Okay, so this is kind of those 3 different views. Fun facts, Edpuzzle grades all multiple choice for you, and it's saved in the gradebook. Here's a video to watch if you want to look at a little bit more details. We're not going to watch it right now. Okay, so how to access the gradebook. So I'm going to show you live in our practice class. So this is the class that you guys are in, January 30th. Up here, I have 1 assignment. Notice down here, it says I have 39 answers to grade. That's your short answers. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Class members, here's all of your names that you guys joined my class. If this was Google Classroom, you would have Google Classroom list. But here is my gradebook right here. Okay, so here are the 4 random assignments that you have been scheduled. And then the assignment right here, notice it's color. It does not have a score because I have not finished grading. But I have my gradebook in here. I can download the whole gradebook if you wanted to, but you probably, if it's linked to your Google Classroom, you don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so to grade, I actually there's a couple ways to do it. You can click on where it says the 39 new answers. I have 39 new answers up here. And so what is going to come up? What's at any time you need a pep talk? So it now shows your name because I'm not in live mode. Okay, so Scott Porter, anytime. Now, if I'm reading these really fast over here, the X is going to give you a 0, or sorry, the check is going to give them 100%. Okay, so you can say, great, Scott, great. And I'm just going to, yep. Now, if you're doing this for like a social emotional check-in, when things go wrong at a large scale event, maybe I need to add right here, I can add a comment. You've got this, Annabelle. Best ASB director I know. She now gets this comment, right? From my perspective, it shows up right here that just says 1 comment. Okay. On her screen, she gets that. She can see my comment. Now, why would you use this? You're giving a kid a 0 and they think they should have a full answer. You're welcome, Annabelle. You think that they didn't answer it fully, etc. Now, let's say you want to be somewhere in the middle, right? I could give to teach after lunch, to go somewhere. Okay, I'm going to pick on who I'm going to pick on. I'm like giving you all answers. Jennifer, I'm going to pick on you after a breakup. I'm like, okay, give me more details. I'm going to give you a 70%. And so when I click that 70 and then I hit enter, it goes away and it's given her a score. Okay, so in the actual scoring of these pending answers, okay, I can also, let's say I don't want to read them. I can also mark all ungraded as correct. And I click this button and it gives you all 100%. Woohoo! Okay, so that's a time-saving feature. Okay, so then when I now look at this, these are my graded answers. This is the right answer, the wrong answer. I can see who got the wrong answer, so I get some analytics. I see your information, right? I'm good. Okay. Now, when I am done grading, I can go. My computer is freaking out. I wouldn't normally do that. I can now go back, right? Now, I see who's watched it 70%, 80%, right? 100%. And these are the ones that I've scored. So see how they have a score there and they've turned it in on time. These people have not turned it in on time. Okay. Over in the 3 little dots, I can reset their progress, which means they start over. Okay. So I'm like, no, you screwed this up. You need to watch this video again. Reset their progress. I can also unassign. Okay. Why would you unassign? A kid is absent and they don't need to make it up. You are modifying for independent study. This kid is going to have an issue. Whatever it is, you can unassign 1 at a time. Okay. Now on this, you also have, it kind of looks like when you assign it, this is where your closed captioning and your prevent skipping are. Prevent skipping forces them to watch the whole thing before they can turn it on. Okay. So that's in kind of my editing. So now if I go back to my gradebook's going to look a little bit differently because I have scores. So when I'm in my gradebook, now remember I picked on Tracy and I gave her a bad score. So now I see Tracy's score and then I see the other scores. And the other people haven't finished it yet, which is why it's blank. Okay, you see how that works? So let me show you a real one. So here's my American Lit class. This is second semester. Right? So now I'm looking at that, Destiny hasn't done these ones. It's past the due date, but now it gives me an average of all of them. So let's say you're going to give 6 Edpuzzles as review for the test and you're going to give them a score, but you don't want to put all 6 in Aries. You can actually give them an average score as well. And it does the math for you. Okay. I went to an IEP for one of the students on this list, and I wanted to tell his mom that he is doing everything he's supposed to do. So I pulled this up and I'm like, well, he's done 22 minutes of his video and only 1 was late, but he's averaging 80% or higher. I have the immediate statistics ready for me. Okay. This is I can also change my start date. So if I wanted my start date all the way back to September 1, September 1 through today, I can now look at that as well. Okay. So this is my grade book, assessing the grade book, looking at the grade book. Showed you how to do feedback, showed you how to edit your feedback, right? So that you can add it in there, how to add comments, how to grade them. Students are going to see that you turned it green and red. They'll see your comments, just like I gave Annabelle her comment. And it's your turn to play and my turn to stop talking, but I have to give you 4 minutes. Let's move on then. If you want to come back to this at the end, when we have that bonus time, we'll have it, okay? All right, so the next thing is getting our stuff into Edpuzzle. And as I mentioned, I have a whole extra hour because there's so many here. Okay, so there's 3 main options to get content in. Option 1, you have it on your computer. You want to upload it directly into Edpuzzle. So you could do this if you have one of those old school videos. You could use this if you have a student created video. Anything that you have, you can upload it from Google Drive or your computer into Edpuzzle. Option 2, you can do a screencast-ish directly within Edpuzzle, record yourself live. Okay. Option 3, which is probably the most common, you find it on YouTube, you move it to Edpuzzle. Okay. So these are our 3 main ways to get something into Edpuzzle. So all of them benefit from this Edpuzzle extension. So if we want to actually do that right now, so I'm going to give you the link in the chat. If you don't already have it, the district did push it out to our computers. So you might already have it. It looks just like the little Edpuzzle orange puzzle. So if you go up at the top of your Chrome and click in the black puzzle piece, they did push it out to our computers, but you'll know you have it. You can put it up into your recording window. I'm going to switch to share my whole tab so you can see my whole screen. If you don't have it, you can install it using your personal device. But up in the top corner, your black puzzle piece, and then you find Edpuzzle. Okay, and then I have mine. I use it often enough that I have it up here. Okay, so what does this extension do? First, it makes Google Chrome know that you want to be Edpuzzle-y. If I am trying to, option 1, recording it directly through Edpuzzle, you actually just click that button and it's going to screen record my screen. So during COVID, I used Loom all the time, and now Edpuzzle does it for me. And so this is, and again, I'm going to go into a lot of more details next week on how to do this one, but I click that puzzle piece. It's now going to record my tab, my desktop, my camera only, use my microphone, my camera. It's going to record whatever I want it to. And then instead of it being in the Loom platform or the Screencastify platform or wherever it is, it's going to be in the Edpuzzle platform. Okay, so that's the first thing this little puzzle piece does. But the other thing it does, and this is if we're bringing it in from YouTube, when I am in YouTube and, okay, what's your true age quiz? Let's say this is the one that I randomly wanted to take into Edpuzzle. Once I find it, you'll notice down here, it has edit with Edpuzzle. So I'm on YouTube, I just edit with Edpuzzle. If I click that video, what it's now doing is it's YouTube and Edpuzzle are working together to create my Edpuzzle in Edpuzzle. Oh, that's as easy as it is. And so once I am in my Edpuzzle, I can, I know. So once I am in my Edpuzzle here, I can cut it, I can trim it, all my other Edpuzzle things that I normally do. I can add my voiceover and I can add my questions just like I normally do, where I add my like question marks and my kinds of questions. Okay. Now, Tracy, that's a great question. If you are using your Edpuzzle in your class, it doesn't violate copyright. Okay. But you do need to make sure that you change your settings to make it private. Okay. If your video is public, it can get taken down for copyright. Okay. So, but if it's private, it doesn't, because it's just educational use, falls under the Fair Use Act. Woohoo. Deborah.
Okay, can you show us how to do that?
Yeah. So let me get out of here because I don't actually.
Because I'm literally about to show Hamlet. Like,
okay, let me get out of here. Okay, so right here, see where it says public? You're just gonna click private. Done. Woohoo! And now no one can. They can't see it. So if the YouTube creator wanted to be crazy, they could. So those of you who are like, I totally want to start making my own content, play. And I would love for you to come to the advanced session as we start figuring out how we create our own content. That is February 8th. You sign up in KickUp. Here is the link. And that is ready to go if you can make it. Hey, we've learned a lot of things on how to help our kids. See how it's really hard to do this in an hour? Like, what the heck? Anyway, yay, improve student learning. Yay, make us more efficient. Yay.